According to Zillow data, the average home in the United States increased by 41% during the pandemic. And this increase can mainly be attributed, according to the Federal Reserve of San Francisco, to remote work. And that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at where home prices increased the most during the pandemic, maybe even where they dropped during the pandemic. Yes, it did happen. And again, we're looking at this through an interactive map from ResiClub Analytics and Zillow data. You don't want to miss this video. Pretty sweet information you can use today if you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the like button, consider subscribing to my channel. I post updates all the time about the real estate market in Ohio and nationally. You don't want to miss any. So please subscribe. And also leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. I always read them. I try to respond to every single comment. You always have good information for me. I'm always learning, and everybody else can learn from your comments too. So please comment below about this article and about your housing market. I'd love to know what's happening in your neighborhood. Okay, let's get to the article. This article is from ResiClub. You can go to their website to access this data and this article. This is a paid article, though. You need a subscription to access it. However, they do have a bunch of free information, and their paid service is pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $150 a year. Totally worth it. I personally think the guy that runs this, Lance Lambert, and his website, ResiClub, has the best analytics of real estate, bar none, across the internet. I mean, he just can't explain how awesome his website is. Okay, enough on Lance. Let's get to the article. So this article is called The Pandemic Housing Boom as Told by One Map. We're going to get to the map in a second, but let's go over the article briefly. The pandemic housing boom was a perfect storm for home price growth. Despite a weak job market, the U.S. housing market flipped into boom mode in the summer of 2020. It was driven in part by remote work, which generated a heightened demand for housing space. Between the summer of 2020 and the summer of 2022, household formation exceeded expectations by 2.2 million, as individuals sought to separate from crowded roommates and as financially stimulated millennials embarked on independent living arrangements. This article is highlighting the fact that because of the pandemic and people wanting to, be away from each other and not wanting to get COVID, I guess, they said, I got to move out of this house, got to move out of my parents' house, get my own spot. And that helped fuel the home buying demand and price growth. So comment below, do you know someone in your circle of friends or your family that decided to venture out and buy their first home during the pandemic? I'd love to know. I certainly helped several people, several first-time home buyers during the pandemic. I am a real estate agent, and that's what I do. So I did help them, and several of them were millennials. The article goes on to say, this surge in housing demand, which was aided by low mortgage rates and stimulus money, was so substantial that the Federal Reserve researchers estimated that housing supply would have needed to increase by a staggering 300% in order to match the level of demand. Housing supply obviously never matched that demand rush, and so U.S. home prices overheated. And then between March of 2020 and July of 2022, U.S. home prices, as tracked by the Zillow Home Price Value Index, spiked 41%. We're going to look at a map, and we're going to zoom around the country to look at where prices increased the most and maybe where they decreased. Researchers at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco estimate that over 60% of pandemic housing boom price gains can be directly attributed to elevated demand set off by the work from home wave. Okay, so this map represents the shift in home values according to Zillow data from March of 2020 to October of 2023. It's color coded. So yellow means no growth or not a lot of growth at all, maybe even negative growth. And the purple areas are more growth. Pretty simple, right? So let's start in the West. Santa Barbara County, California, up 52% during the pandemic. Home values up 52%. San Diego County, California, up 46%. Los Angeles County, California, up 33%. There are some areas in California that didn't do so well. Mendocino County, California, only up 4%. Look at Arizona. A lot of people think Arizona's crashing with prices. Well, unless they've crashed over the last 2 months, they haven't crashed. Maricopa County, Arizona, up 50%. There's some other areas here. Navajo County, Arizona, up 58%. All right, let's look in the Northwest. King County, Washington, or Seattle, up 31% during the pandemic. Not as much as some other areas. Still a huge increase, though. Going out to the Tri-Cities, Spokane, in that area, 44% increase in home values. All right, let's go down to Texas. Now, Texas has a lot of yellow. Yellow means lower increases in home values, maybe even negative. Let's see what we can find here. Look at this. Tom Green County, Texas. You live in Tom Green Comment below. 29% increase in home values. Dallas County, Texas, up 43% in home values. Travis County, Texas, up 41% in home values. But there are some yellow areas of Texas. Fisher County, Texas, down 7%. This area dropped during the pandemic. Maybe people moved out of Fisher County, Texas, and they moved into Travis County, Texas. I don't know. Jim Hogg County, Texas. I love these names in Texas. Awesome. Down 18% during that period of time. All right, Florida. Time for Florida now. Florida is like unreal. I mean, look at this. All blue, all purple. Palm Beach County, Florida. 59% increase in prices. Miami-Dade, Florida, up 56% in prices. Monroe County, Florida, gets worse, up 65% in prices. All right, let's go to the Northeast now. Knox County, Maine. If you're in Knox County, Maine, I'd love to know, is this real? Up 65% in prices. Kennebec County, Maine, up 69% in prices. This is Ohio real estate. I'm a real estate agent in Ohio and an investor in Ohio. So let's look at Ohio real quick. Licking County, Ohio, where I live, 49% increase in home prices. I can tell you, if you are a first-time home buyer in Ohio, it's like complete sticker shock. I've helped several buy houses. I'm trying to help some now buy houses, their first houses, and they're almost priced out of the market, really. I mean, to try to find an affordable house that will pass FHA and, you know, is in a decent neighborhood, in Ohio, you were able to find something here locally for $120,000, $130,000. Now that price is now $200,000 at least. Franklin County, Ohio, up 43% during the pandemic. Cuyahoga County, Ohio, which is Cleveland, up 37% during the pandemic. Hamilton County, Ohio, which is Cincinnati, up 41% during the pandemic. And most of Ohio is in the purple, or I guess blue. Not a lot in yellow. There's a few, but everything basically increased. All right, now there's some other states and some other areas I was scoping out earlier that are just crazy increases in prices, even more so than we've seen. Teton County, Wyoming, up 85%. Lincoln County, Wyoming, up 88%. Okay, so this map obviously tells us a story of how much home prices increased and where during the pandemic. But the question everyone wants to know is, where are prices going now? Well, they could definitely soften as more listings hit the market over the next couple years, there's no doubt. But if demand keeps up with that increase in supply, you probably are going to see a continued increase in prices. Now, hopefully the increase isn't 50%. Hopefully it's not even 10% a year. Historically, it's been 6%. That's what, you know, home prices have increased 6% annually during the last 20 years or so. So if they're increasing even 10% a year, that's crazy. And that's too much. Wages obviously can't keep up with that. Most people don't get 10% raises every single year. And that's why the affordability crisis is where it is right now, because the run up in prices has far exceeded any pay increases people are getting. And now you have mortgage rates increasing. And so mortgage payments are even much higher than they were during the pandemic. It'd be interesting to know if interest rates were, you know, 7% for a 30-year mortgage during the pandemic. Do you think this would have happened? Comment below. I'd love to know what you think. Do you think we would have seen these type of gains? Hard to say, but mortgage rates didn't help the situation at all. Anyway, if you are a buyer and you're looking to buy your first house, maybe if you're an investor and looking to invest in an area, even like Ohio, you've got to put on your big boy pants and do some really detailed searching and be patient. Work with a professional realtor like me. And whatever you do, have patience. Don't overpay for your real estate. That's like the golden rule in real estate. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. So make sure you buy right and be patient. If you have to keep renting, if you're a renter, keep renting. There's plenty of great real estate investors that rent their primary home and invest in real estate in other states, because real estate's an awesome investment, but maybe in your area, you can't afford a house to live in. You got to keep renting. No big deal there. Just keep renting. But in any case, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining me. Again, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on the next video.